Good day. Hello, everybody. My name is Reggie Yamanaka. I'm a student at UMGC in a Data 670 Data Analytics class. This is a project overview and outline of my first presentation. We're going to be going over my project and basically the structure of what I'll be covering. I'll be covering from the point of view of a consultant in a consulting firm for any businesses that want to run on Amazon, Amazon's FBA program. It's a fulfillment program run by Amazon. If you sell a product, they will ship and package your items for you, which is very attractive, and it attracts a lot of competition. So this is a reason why sellers who do business on Amazon would hire consultants like River Consultants LLC. We're going to be covering two companies. They're going to be named different names from what they're really called to protect their private and personal information. The first company is called T Company, and the second one is Home Goods. So those three will be our stakeholders: the consulting firm, River LLC, T LLC, and Home Goods LLC. The business area, they have different industries. The T is a consumer goods company, so you can consume and eat their items, and they manufacture their own products. Home Goods LLC doesn't manufacture their own products. They buy products from people and they resell them. So they're more like resellers. It's a different business model. I like this approach of conveying the information because you get to see two different types of companies and how they do business on Amazon. The thing they do have in common is that they both have declining sales, which is what prompted them to seek our services. We're going to approach this project there's two different ways you can approach it: from an advertising perspective or marketing perspective. These are the two main ways to control your revenue. From the advertising perspective, you have PPC and SEO. PPC stands for pay-per-clicks, and SEO is search engine optimization. Design and catalog work is consider that as the marketing. Now, just to simplify things so you can understand the big picture, when we onboard companies, they're either phase 1 or phase 2. These two companies are phase 1s because they had declining sales. We're treating them as if they're new companies. So because they're declining sales and we're treating them as new companies, we're going to approach them with the advertising approach, which would be PPC and SEO. PPC and SEO is the easiest way to generate sales because you deal with the search terms the most aggressively. Basically, when a customer goes onto Amazon, they'll enter keywords into the search engine to find products they want to buy. The cool thing about the marketplace is that customers come in with buyer's intent. They're ready to spend money. And this is also another reason why it's very competitive to sell on Amazon, because the sellers, they know that. So you'll have a lot of sellers with like items competing for that first page position. The consulting firm's goal is to get your items on the first page ahead of everybody's. And it takes daily work. It takes daily work to do this. So it's not, you can do this by yourself, but it's much easier to outsource this activity. And this is another reason why companies seek a consulting service. So having said that, there's a lot of competition. There's also a lot of cases and examples of how to gain sales, how to gain advantage and promote yourself to the first page on top of that, on top of everybody else. So the objective basically is to increase sales month to month. The good thing about the first month, when you first start out, Generally, companies usually they give you slack to grow sales. They don't expect sales in the first month. What's attractive to me about this project is I'll be able to either convey that there is a decline in sales, or that our decisions based on the data available and our actions helps promote sales. And that's the ideal situation, is that we're going to always promote sales. Sometimes you won't be able to sell things. There's things that are out of control, say a shipment didn't go through, or a company didn't get their products on time, so they didn't have enough items in the warehouse, or maybe we did too good of a job consulting and they sold too many items too fast, and for that reason there's a lot of things out of stock in the warehouse. Amazon has this little caveat where if you're out of stock for 4 days or more, your account is liable to be disabled. So you can do too good of a job and still get a bad outcome. So there's a balance to all these decisions that we make. And the interesting thing is that with these data sets, you'll notice a lot about 23 to 25 variables. They all have a push-pull effect. There's a cause and effect with all these variables. And I'll be getting into it more as the project develops. I consider these types of decisions tactical business intelligence type decisions. As far as analytics go, I'm going to look to techniques like R-squared, where it reinforces the fact that the model was accurate. So we're going for accuracy. The data set's descriptions, they're both identical as far as variables are concerned. Like I said, the tea company is smaller and the home goods company is bigger. And they have different business models. One pushes other products through from other companies, and the other one sells their own brand. So there's different behaviors I'm gonna expect out of this, but there are variables that I tend to use or see or hear in business meetings every week, and that's match type, which is the name of the type of campaign. There's 3 types of campaigns. There's exact, there's broad and general, and then there's manual. Those are the types of campaigns to generate search terms. Cost per click is, as it sounds, it's the amount of money it costs to click on each search. Spend is the amount of money that was spent for that click or sale. Total advertising cost of sales is, as it sounds, the cost it costs to advertise for that sale. I went through the data set descriptions already for each one. Going back, so one of these are going to be my target variables, and I'm focusing on ACoS because that's the one I use the most often in meetings. The research, the key variables, I highlighted in red and showed you already. Tools I plan on using is Python. SAS, I liked it for the ensemble modeling. I remember it was really easy to use and produce outputs, and it was also easy to show that the accuracy of the models. Tableau, I might use for visualization techniques if I can't figure it out on Python. IBM Watson, I am very curious about this technique called factor analytics, where you combine and compile variables. I had multiple variables here with a qualification of 7 days. There's multiple variables that say 7 days in it. Those are hardly used in the business meeting, so I'm curious what happens, what kind of behavioral I'll see if I compile those together. They definitely should have like a high, what's that called, bias, or they should definitely have a high bias. And I could take that information and use it for my analytics. Research gap. There's a couple things and there's pros and cons to this. The tea company only has 7,200 observations, but it's going to grow within the month. So I don't know how much it's going to grow by yet, but I expect it to at least double. And the pro of that is I'll be able to track growth with the decisions that we've made. Cons may not be able to reach 20,000 observations each by August, but I'll be adding on to the data set as time goes by. So basically the proposal of my project is a survival analysis of the two companies. They're going to be distinct analysis, but where the machine learning comes in is with the factor analytics. And that is my proposal. With the survival analytics of the companies, I hope or expect to make a decision on what to do when we go forward. And I also expect to transition from phase 1 to phase 2, where we take a more concise approach to the search term tool. The key performance indicators will revolve around ACOS, which is one of the variables. And also I will do some more research into the other techniques for analytics. On the appendix, I will put a lot of visualizations. That's where I'll put all my visualizations for my project. And that concludes the structure and outline of my project. It's basically a small data approach or mindset because it's an everyday business, but it also takes in big data techniques, which is different from the usual day-to-day business. And I'm excited to explore that. I consider this exploratory analysis of the data, because this isn't something you would do all the time, and especially where there's a fluid amount of information every day being processed, you need time to collect good data. And usually we wait 2 weeks to make reports, and then we make a decision. So this isn't something I would do every day, but this is also something that would help explore the relationships between the variables. That concludes my outline and basic structure for my project. My name is Reggie Yamanaka. Thank you for your time.